We're going to start in the store, which we are in. Menswear, home goods you probably saw over there, women's wear. All of these materials are available for purchase online at supplychaingeek.com, just in case you want to pick something up. But we do have a store online, and it does marry up inventory-wise to what you're seeing in our in-store experience, and that's on purpose. We want to be able to show you exactly what this could really feel like in a store.
Certainly we have a lot of hardware infrastructure that's in here today that largely makes up the Zebra Smart Lens solution, which we'll talk about in more detail as we go on. I was sitting at home, last night, and I said I really could use a nice hat. It's getting really hot out. I'm losing my hair by the day, and I need to do something about this sunburn that I'm getting. So I went on to our Swag Hub store, as Jody mentioned, and I came across this Supply Chain Geek trucker hat. It says it's a hat that belongs in the men's department, which clearly I'm at right now. The problem is that it's not here. So what I need to do is, as a consumer, I need to ask the store associate, in this case Jody, to help me. So, Jody, I see you have this great hat, but I can't find it. Can you help me?
Yes, I can help you. I know it says it's supposed to be here, but I'm going to review some of my technology to see where it actually is in the store so we can find it for you.
It shows that this specific product is located here based on the antennas that pinpoint the right product, which is the serialized of the specific product that we're looking for.
I know where your hat is. Someone just kind of left it in the fitting room. So I'm looking around into my eye. I cannot see that there's a hat here, but I know it's here because Smart Lens, my inventory system, has told me it's here. So I actually have a handheld device with an RFID reader. So you can see in the back. And the software here, I can click the button and I can start to go find my hat. You guys can kind of audibly hear that I'm not, as I get closer, I found the hat! Someone put the hat in our cabinet here. Also, because I'm a good sales associate, I've sold him 2 more shirts.
We're actually going to take these items over to our self-checkout area. But because Jody was such a fantastic host, not only did she upsell me on 2 shirts that were magically sitting in the fitting room, but as I go out, I'm going to grab one other item and I'm going to proceed to check those items out. So in this kiosk here is a series of RFID reader and antennas that are going to allow me to now check out these 4 items without actually having a barcode scan each one. The interface is very simple, straightforward. It's kind of guiding me through this. And it's now asking me to scan my items. So as I put my items into the bin or to the basket, you can see that it has now automatically captured those items and I didn't have to actually scan a single thing. Now, if I wanted to, and let's hope that I set up our demo appropriately, because we know demos always have risk. If I remove that item, I just decided I just didn't want it. I get my fingers on it, and I go to rescan, you'll see that it's now updated the inventory appropriately. The final step in this process is the software is quote unquote disenrolling the tags. And the reason we're doing that is as you're going to see in a minute, the next part of our story is how we can use this to tie into loss detection, shrink applications. And I can let Shuki speak to this for a minute because this is something that we have not deployed yet within the RC. It's now using a combination of sensors or tags that can serve multi-purpose around PAS type applications. So Shuki, maybe you can take a minute and just kind of introduce kind of what the WISE tag is and how that directly impacts the shopper experience.
The old EAS tags, hard tags, can be easily opened with any magnet and they have no ID on them, nobody knows what's open and so on. So with these tags, these are actually a combination of a hard tag and an RFID, and you can actually scan this with your mobile phone, pay in your phone with any kind of a mobile payment in your phone, and the minute you pay for it, this gets a signal from all of these antennas and opens up automatically. You can just drop it in the bin. These are reusable tags, so you can preserve your investments.
We're now going to validate the point of sale occurred. These items were purchased and that I'm not actually going to steal them. That's what it is, right? So as I go out this door, the software has the intelligence to say that this event happened I'm gonna go out the door and no one's gonna be notified. As I walk out the door though, my friend Shuki has sticky fingers and wants to buy a pair of socks or take a pair of socks. So he's gonna follow me out in a minute, and you're gonna see that when I go through that gate, that something different is gonna happen when he goes through the gate, is he did not take the socks to the self-checkout.
And I'm moving with this unpaid
It's in
pair
the
of socks.
hallway on the top.
Just imagine really doing a lot.
Whenever an item is paid for, this is sent directly to the gate system, okay? Gets a signal of what was paid, and whatever is gone through is validated in real time that it was actually paid.
The reason that these loss detection sensors are important is not just to address the challenges and the patterns you see with theft and shrink, but it's also to trigger that order replenishment, right? This is also means that you make sure that the inventory accuracy is as it should be, and then to trigger any order replenishment thereafter. Basically what we want to do then is kind of come to the back of the store, and here we are a few days later, figuratively speaking. Basically, a day or two later, those items that were purchased have now been reordered and now being going to be received here in the back of the store. Talk a lot about how RFID can be used for specific applications around like shipment verification, which is knowing what items were received at a dock door versus what items were shipped at a dock door, and being able to do that in a much more accurate way and in an autonomous fashion as well. What we don't have here in this facility, that's again in our Woodinville facility, is what we call the more traditional dock door portals. We see a dock door portal basically being two panels that would be kind of on the sides of that walkway where you're at. So when a truck is unloaded and we go through the door, those portals are automatically reading those items and validating that against like an ASN to make sure that you have the right products and any associated errors can be validated. But then as technologies have evolved and Zebra's come out with new approaches and methodologies, we start to see that you can do things slightly different. And what I mean by that is for specific use cases, those use cases that don't have a lot of tagged items. When I say a lot of tagged items, I might mean if this whole pallet was tagged with RFID, I would not recommend a solution like this because of the I don't want to say the limitations that it has, but what it was designed for. This was designed to serve multiple purposes, but in a dock door environment, its purpose is to support directionality. What went on the truck, what went off the truck. This is kind of the evolution of the technology and how it's supporting different use cases. But then the third option, again, now this becomes much more retail specific, hence why we're in the REC, is if you look above you, you have two antennas right here facing outward, and you have two antennas on the other side facing inward. Using the Smart Lens solution, which again includes a combination of hardware and software, we then can do similar to the HR, which is where we're receiving goods in our back of store, and we're doing it automatically and basically hands-free. So if you look on your dashboard, I'm going to walk through the door and recognize that there's a little bit of a latency because of the application and the teams and whatnot. You should see these 5 items transition through the door based on me walking through. This is another solution that WiseSense has provided us that we've incorporated into our solution offering. This is not for retail store only. This absolutely can work in distribution centers and other environments. Traditional methods like handhelds can fail. It's dependent on a person to do the job. If I am trying to receive goods in a semi-non-isolated area, I can read a bunch of stuff that I don't want to read, and now I basically have to go through that whole exception handling process and say, hey, you told me that I can read these items in the handle, great. I did, but I just read 8 other items that weren't even a part of this box. So, this, while it can provide value for certain use cases, can do more harm than good if not used in the appropriate way. The DEC right now is not shipping me cases of product that are RFID labeled. So this is using a traditional barcode SSCC label, which means I need to take action to scan this barcode to then identify what this item is. So what I just did is I've identified this case, and I know now that this case is going to contain certain items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the box, and very easily when I close this up,
See here on the screen.
and now we validate it, you're going to see that,
Wow.
hey, I received all my items, but unfortunately there's something in there that's not supposed to be there. So there's an exception. So I now need to take action upon this to reconcile and correct the inventory. So I pull it out and I go through. I realize, oh shoot, another hat got put in here that wasn't a part of the order. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it back in the box. I'm gonna rescan, but oh, by the way, I don't have any place to put this extra hat because I have too much stuff in the way. I'm gonna just put it here for a moment. I'm gonna rescan. I've now updated my inventory to be accurate, and it didn't detect this tag that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, or any other adjacent tags. What we see largely in distribution environments, when you have a lot of dock doors too, is another perfect use case. Sometimes if I have 50 dock doors, it might not make a lot of sense to put 50 portals at all my dock doors because one, it costs a lot of money. Two, I'm not using all those dock doors all the time, and it's not the best investment. So what we're seeing also then is how when we see more densely packed orders coming in, portals do have their limitations. You know, I use the example of reading a few hundred tags. Getting to read a few hundred tags can't present a challenge. Reading thousands can be even more challenging. So what we see is that when we want to leverage the use of RFID technology, mitigate our investment, while also enhancing the performance of our solution, we can now use basically conveyance systems to feed product being received at the dock door to a single tunnel or tunnels, where then we can put it through in a much more isolated fashion in an automated way, and then do that item case level reconciliation as well. So as we walk down here, basically what we've gone through is we've received goods at the dock door, we've done the item case validation, and the last step in the process is now to put these items away, which we'll again see in real time from SmartLens as it's illustrated on your tablets. So now that time has passed, you should see that those items were in the receiving area. Again, this is just giving you an illustration about how we can do this in relatively real time. And the last step in this whole process is to complete the item journey. So we've received it, we validated it, we've put it away. Now at some point these items need to go back to the front of the store for replenishment. So in the very last scenario here, as we kind of round out the building to kind of go wrap things up, you'll see again on your screen that these items will now have transitioned from the back of the store to the front of the store. And the reason that is significant is because it can give you gives you better visibility to where things are at versus just you have it. Kyle's minute update.